Okay, welcome to Logic Leap Academy. In the first video, I'm going to talk about the concept of rearranging formulas. Now, rearranging formulas is a very fundamental part of mathematics in fields like calculus, algebra, geometry. You all need to be familiar with this concept of rearranging formulas. So what this means is we just want to move certain values or terms to opposite sides to solve what's being asked. So let's look at the first example. The first example would be 2x is equal to y. Now what I often tell students is for educational purposes, you can think about the equal sign as a mirror. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're standing in front of a mirror, right? And you raise your right hand. Well, what happens in the mirror? It looks back at you, or your reflection looks back at you and raises right hand as well. So it means that whatever you do on this side of the mirror will replicate to the opposite side, or would replicate to your reflection. Now I want you to think about this equal sign as a mirror. So when we ask to solve x, well, I know x has a coefficient of 2. I can get rid of this coefficient by dividing with 2. These two terms would cancel each other out, and then we are left with x is equal to y over 2. And in fact, we just solved x. Let's go to the next one, b. We're going to follow the same principle as the mirror analogy. Okay, so we have 1 over 2 VR is equal to 4. Now in later videos, I'll talk about how to get rid of denominators and exponential rules, etc. But for now, I can simply divide both sides by 1/2, or I can use the concept of cross multiplication, which means I can just simply multiply this 2 as a denominator with the 4. How this looks in theory would be something like this. If I wanted to divide by 1 over 2, because I cannot divide with fractions, I will simply multiply with the reciprocal, so that gives me 8. So this is why cross multiplication can in fact work. So let's do it. Now the question is to solve r. Okay. Now I'm going to first cross multiply. So I want r to be alone on my left hand side. On my right hand side, I will have 8, and then I'm still left with this v. What can I do with the v? Well, I can divide both sides by v, right? These two v's will cancel each other out, so I have 8 over v. And there's r solved. So let's look at the final one. The final one is solve y. Interesting. So to get rid of the y's coefficients, which would be z and x squared, I can simply divide both sides by y and x squared and z. X squared and z. So this x squared will cancel out. This x squared, this z will cancel out. That's z. So to find y, I will simply have 1 over x squared z. Okay, let me do one final one. What about if I had y squared is equal to 2x? Well, I can simply square root both sides. The square root will cancel out the square. So I'm left with y is equal to the square root of 2x. And these are just basic examples of how to rearrange formulas. But if you can understand the concept of what I just did in this video, you should have no problem figuring out very complex equations.